Hello and welcome to CyVerse's Fall Webinars 2024. I'm Tina Lee, CyVerse's User Engagement Officer. Welcome. Today's webinar continues our Getting Started series. It's actually a mini series with a focus on tackling the first big hurdle often faced by anyone doing computational research. That is moving data, and sometimes a lot of it. Before I turn the webinar over to presenter Michele Cosi, please open the Zoom chat window and type any questions there for Michele. He'll address them after he's done. Today's webinar could be as short as 20 minutes or a little longer if there's questions or, as usual with demos, it might be a technical glitch. But as always, we do record our webinars, and I'll post this video recording to our website and to the CyVerse YouTube channel later today. My colleague, presenter Michele Cosi, is a plant scientist by training, a research data scientist by trade, and has lots of teaching experience both in person and virtually. Michele is a strong evangelist for open science, educating researchers in data science best practices, FAIR and CARE principles, containerization, and cloud-native technologies. He teaches CyVerse's workshops on foundational open science skills, containers, and cloud-native resources, and is a key member of the Data Science Institute's educational team of instructors. Hello, Michele. Welcome.
Hi, Tina. Thank you for your introduction to me and also to CyVerse and the topic itself. Today, we're going to be discussing moving data to and from CyVerse. And through a little conversation that we were having here whilst setting things up, he has given me a couple of ideas of how I can present this to you. And by all means, feel free to ask questions whenever you want. Unmute yourself, put them in the chat. We are here to help you. It's nice to see some returning faces in today's webinar. By all means, you're always welcome to be here. So, first things first, if you do not have a CyVerse account, go to user.cyvers.org, but that process has already been covered. And if you do want to learn the extreme basics of CyVerse, signing up, what the dashboard is, how to navigate and launch applications, we have a number of recordings for you available in our YouTube channel. And therefore, with that said, I am going to move on to learning how to move data, and sometimes a lot of it. Gonna switch tabs right around here. And just wanted to go back to our discovery environment where we can look at the data that we have within the data app. Within the data tab. If you get a data tab, I have a lot of files and folders in here. I'm scrolling up and down. Yours might look a little bit reduced, but this is all of your data that's available on CyVerse. All of this data is accessible by all of our applications. And we do get a lot of questions such as, can you see my data? No, we cannot see your data. We do not have the permissions to see your data. Your data is secure to yourself. With that said, I am going to show you where to get or where you can learn to move data. I now am in the learning.cyvers.org website, which I am going to paste right here in the chat. And the CyVerse Learning home is our website. It's our platform essentially where all of our getting started and all of our questions may be answered. And therefore, since today we're talking about managing your data and moving your data, you see over here we do have a Manage Your Data tab. Please click on that. I'm clicking on that. There we go. And we have a number of instructions as well as information for you to access in our table of contents of the Manage Your Data section. The first thing that I do want you to look at is within moving your data, we do have at least 6 ways for you to move data between one application or one computer, server, platform, HPC, onto CyVerse itself and vice versa. Tina did well at pointing out that, well, there may be different methods to moving your data to CyVerse. And we're going to go through, I believe, 4 of them today. The first is the easiest way to move your data, and that is through the Discovery environment. But do look at its limitations. It does have a maximum upload of 2 gigabytes per file. However, the speed of which this happens is related to how fast your browser is, and therefore there is a speed limit that is not imposed by us, but by your computer, specifically your web browser. You can also use a little tool called Cyberduck. This comes as a desktop app, and it's really important for me to point out that because it's a desktop app, you can use it with the Mac computers or the Windows computers. I'm using a Windows computers for this webinar today, and I'm going to show you in just a bit how Cyberduck works. Cyberduck is great because it's not only a way to move data from your computer to CyVerse and vice versa, but it also allows you to create folders, view your entire list of files and folders that are in CyVerse as if they were in your computer. And it does allow for more and a large number of gigabytes to be transported in and out at quite high speeds, actually. If you want higher speeds and you know your way around the command line, I suggest 2 ways, one of them using the SFTP method, and SFTP is it uses the secure shell protocol in order to transfer data between command line platforms such as an HPC or any computer that has access to the command line. I will be using the Windows subsystem for Linux today. We do offer I digress. We do offer GoCommands. I jumped the gun here, but we do offer GoCommands for all platforms. SFTP can be done with any platforms with access to command line, and so does GoCommands. And GoCommands is our in-house method to transport data. It's an extension of our iCommands and uses iRods in order to visualize all the data, transfer files, and multi-threading the transfer of data, which can essentially speed up the transfer in between your computer or platform onto CyVerse. So today we're going to be covering the Discovery environment, Cyberduck, GoCommands, and in conjunction SFTP. Okay, so let's cover the easiest one first, this moving data through the Discovery environment. If we go back to CyVerse, and if you wanted to upload a small set of files, you can use the small upload button that you can find here in the Data tab. Click on your upload button and you can browse files from local, import from a URL, and if you're moving multiple files, you can also view your queue. Again, we suggest you keep files small when moving things through your web browser, and I'm just going to show you here real quick how this works. I'm going to click on Browse Local, and you're going to see all of my files in here. I want to move a files on my desktop, and I know that the file itself is called example FASTA. Through here, I'm uploading a few data sets. These are data sets that I've used for some of my webinars in the past. So I can just go ahead, click on the example files, and click Open. I'm going to decide to upload all of these small data sets. So as you can see, I'm just holding Shift and pressing down. These are very small data sets, only 3 kbs each. And it's just for an example, but I'm going to click Open. And as you can see over here, I'm going to get a notification that says 4 files are queued for upload. I can view my upload queue. And because the files are so small, they have been uploaded extremely quickly. This is just an example of how to move files from your desktop to the Discovery Environment data store. I should have probably renamed my files before I move this, but I'm sure that they are in here. And another question is, how do I download files? Well, let's say that I do want to download this specific folder right here. I'm going to click on these 3 dots on the right. Where is my download button? I'm gonna try a different one. I'm gonna try this one right here. And it says download. It seems like I remember that I could download folders. It seems like I cannot just move folders. It seems like I can only move files. Exactly, Jeff. I don't know if you can download folders. If you're using, I suppose that if you're using the Discovery environment, then all you can do is to download files, but all our other ways will allow you to move the folders. So over here, I'm going to have a small little download button, and I can click that, and it will download it for me. With that said, cool, fantastic. We talked about this being the easiest way of downloading files. See that there may be a comment in the chat. When uploading large files or folders with multiple files, is there a way to start midpoint if there is a failure? I don't have the best internet sometimes. Yes, Shravan, we are going to cover that when we talk about CoGommands. No problem. Okay, so we covered the easiest way to move files. Let's look at a little bit a one step above, and that is going to be, let me close this one right here, using Cyberduck. I need to go and open up Cyberduck, and if I scroll this little table down here and open Cyberduck, the Cyberduck page in a new tab, it will give me all of the information necessary to connect your computer to Cyberduck. Before continuing, what is this thing that has a really funny name? Well, Cyberduck is it's a software that allows you to view your files and folders elsewhere. This can be in a specific folder that is on the HPC, or here on the CyVerse data store. It's all available for Windows and Mac, and you can easily download it by clicking the download button. What will show up, excuse me, I'm going to close this up. What Cyberduck looks like is this little window out here. I'm moving it around. And as you can see, you can open a connection. If I were to click open connection, it asks me to put in a number of information. There is so many ways to connect. You can connect Dropbox, Google Drive, FTP, SFTP. So there is so many ways to connect. What I will do, however, is that I can go back to CyVerse Learning Home, and right under here in step number 2, we can download something called the CyVerse connection profile. Essentially, is a pre-made file that allows you that will input automatically all of the information that you require, or that Cyberduck requires in order to interface with CyVerse. And I'm going to go ahead and click just that CyVerse connection profile, and it's going to download a small little file. As you can see, I have downloaded it before. And if I were to click that, I'm waiting for a pop-up to happen somewhere in there it is, on my folder, sorry, on my desktop. And it's going to pop up this little window, data.cyverse.org/iRods. It's pre-populated, and I can give it a nickname if I wanted. I'm just going to keep it the same. simply because it's easy to remember exactly where I'm connecting. And I'm looking at this line over here. It already knows where to go. It wants to go to data.cyvers.org, and it's looking for a specific port, 1247. And port 1247 is the port that we use to move all of our files or to connect to the data store. Therefore, your institution or your laboratory, you may want to check with your IT department, seeing whether port 1247 is open. There is two fields here that I still need to populate. The first is the iPlant username, and I'm just going to go ahead and put in my username. And since it already has my iPlant or CyVerse password, it automatically populates it, but just for exercise sake, I'm just gonna go ahead and re-put it. I'm gonna press enter, and I'm gonna close this window, and I'm gonna double click on this little icon right here. It shows me that it's green, and what it does, yes, Tina, thank you. iPlant rebranded to CyVerse in 2015. What Cyberduck allows me to do is to view all of my files right here on as if they were on my computer. Now I'm just going to minimize this, and I'm going to bring in my little example FASTA data sets that I want to move in. All I need to do, if I want to, I can just drag this onto Cyberduck, drop it, and it will open a small little window with the which will show me when the transfer is going to be finished. So I'm gonna wait for this to finish up. I do not need to log in any further or making any changes. It really is drag and drop onto the data store directly with relatively good speed. It is also not a big data set to move, so it was quite quick, but it allows you, I think, a very friendly interface that you can work with in order to upload files. And if I wanted to download these files, I'm going to delete this folder. I can simply just drag it back, and it's the same thing. It's now uploading, and now I can download files from it. Tells me the download is complete, but it has downloaded nothing, which is a little, it probably has put it somewhere on my desktop that I can see right now. I'm digressing at the moment. I'm just going to close this and close Cyberduck because that's all I wanted to show through Cyberduck. It's a great way, friendly way to upload files and download them to your computer. Perhaps perhaps what has happened is that because I uploaded this files just fresh, the iRod server needed to index them first. So maybe I should have downloaded something else. Let me see if I can download these experiments. Oh, cancel.json. Oh, there seems to be an issue with that. Where did it put it? I can't see it at the moment, but it tells me that the download is complete and it actually moved some data. So I need to go and fetch it. I won't be doing it now because there is more important data to show, or more solid ways to move your files. So I'm going to close Cyberduck and going to open the browser back up. Okay, we talked about CoGommands being our in-house way of moving data, and this may answer your question, Shravan. So GoCommands, as I mentioned earlier, is a command line only tool. You can look at GoCommands and how to download it using the GoCommands page. So it's point number 6 here at the bottom of the page. I'm going to open it in a new tab. And GoCommands is an executable. What does this mean? It means that I can go ahead and copy all of this text, and I'm going to open up my command line shell over here. I'm going to make a folder so that things do not get overwritten. Make directory getting started, and I'm going to move inside that folder. And right here, I can just go ahead and paste what I just copied. Do keep in mind there is a difference between Linux, Mac OS, and Windows. Because I'm using the Linux subsystem for Windows, I copied the Linux version of this. But if you're using Windows directly, you want to use PowerShell. So I've copied this onto my shell, onto my terminal. I'm going to press enter. And if I shows me that I have GoCommands over here, if I do ls, I have received an executable. For me to start this executable, and by all means, all of this information is within this page right here. So learning.cyverse.org ds/GoCommands. As an executable, I can either add it to the path, which I have already created, which I have already done, or I can just do /GoCommands. If I was to press enter, it gives me all of this information. Expand this a little bit. All of this information about what I can do with GoCommands. How can I upload things? How can I download things? I can even make directories, move folders and files. Excuse me, print the working directory. And it's very much a remote shell command. It can do all of the remote shell commands. But always, the first thing you want to do with GoCommands, it's // or if you add to the path, just go ahead and type in gocmd and init. What this will do is that it's going to prompt, hey, I would like to know the information of where I am connecting. So the first 4 are always the same. Data.CyVerse.org is automatically inputted, so I'm just going to press enter. The iRODS port is always going to be 1247, so I'm just going to press enter. The iRODS zone is iPlant, the CyVerse name before the rebranding. And because I have already logged in, it's going to pick up my username already. But if this is your first time ever with connecting to the data store with GoCommands, you're going to have this field empty. So for example's sake, I'm just going to type in Cosi Michele, my username, and my CyVerse password. If GoCommands does not complain, it means that you have successfully logged in. So if I do GoCommand ls, oh, it seems like I have already moved somewhere with GoCommands. So it's going to list me the files of the folder that I have previously moved in. So let's see what happens if I do GoCommand cd. See if it happens if I do Command cd tilde. Yeah, home Michele M Cosi is not found because it's picking up my own on this desktop home directory. So I will have to do go command cd iPlant home / Cosi Michele. Right here, I was looking at one of my collaborators' folders, but if I were to do cd onto my own personal folder and do go command ls, it shows me all of the files that I have. I'm going to scroll up a second. Yang says go command cd and in quotation marks, tilde will work. Also, hi, welcome, and thank you for being here, Young. You can tell me all about the things that I do wrong here. So, there was a specific folder that I did want to move. Let me check with myself very quickly which one that was. I want this specific folder to be moved. Fleur IR 2020-07-28. I'm just going to copy that specific name. And I'm going to go back to iCommands. But now I want to test what Ilyang is saying. So if I do go command cd / /iplant / home / Jake Gillian. Am I missing? I'm going to go ahead and copy this path right here and paste it. And if I do go command ls just to check, yes, I am in Jeff's folder. I want to try this, Ilyang. cd tilde go cmd ls. I'm always learning something new, Ilyang. Thank you so much. Okay, I see a long question from Shravan. Shravan, I'm gonna jump on this question in just a second. I do want to download this folder right here, so I'm going to do go commands, and the command to download is always get. And I always like progress lines, so I like to put -- progress, and then I'm going to paste the folder that I want to download. Mind you, if this was a folder elsewhere, I'll have to put in, if this was a file or folder from within this folder, I'll have to put in, for example, FlurIR camera / the name of the file itself, and that will download that file itself. But if this was, for example, a file in Jeff's folder, I will have to put in /iplant / home / jgillen / whatever comes after. I'm just going to download this file right here, / go commands get -- progress, and then the name of the file or folder that I want to download. I'm going to press enter. And ideally here, it should start. There we go. It's downloading the files that I have set up. These are slightly big files. I think we are amounting to roughly 10 gigabytes. And because of Shravan's first question, I am going to stop this transfer and show you how I can resume it. Okay, I think 71% is good enough. I'm going to cancel this. And I'm just going to press up. Actually, let me see if a file has been moved. ls camera. Yes, there is, I believe, to be a partial file. Okay. I want human readable. Yes, it's only a partial file that was moved. Fantastic. This will do well for our example. Okay, so I have /go command get -- progress, and there is some other flags that I may want to add. Scrolling through my notes right here to see if there is anything that I may be missing. But let's start right here. So I do want to add a force. And the reason why I want to add the force is because sometimes when I try to download or upload files with Go commands, and I'm pretty sure Il may already have addressed this. Il is the creator of Go commands. It will prompt you to add a yes or a no if a file is already existing. And if I have to step away from the computer, I can't always press that Y or N. So I like to add the -- force. I will also like to add -- retry, and this will add a layer of, well, if the transfer fails or if the connection breaks, I want to allow Go commands to retry for a specific amount of time. So I can add a numerical number here. I don't know if there is a limit, but I'm just going to add 1. And I also want to add gonna add -- diff and -- no hash. And although I do have my notes, hi Ilyan, can you let me know what -- diff and -- no hash do?
Yeah, diff means it transfers only different parts. I mean, not the part in a same file, but if the data consists of multiple files and some of the files already exist in local, I mean, yeah, in the previous run, you may have some files already downloaded, right?
Yeah,
In that case, it will only transfer the rest of the parts.
exactly.
And then when you run with -- retry, it will always include -- diff, because when you retry it, we don't want to overwrite it, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so -- diff is not required strictly speaking. Yeah, but anyway.
I'm gonna remove the retry for now then.
Yeah, and -- no hash means basically when you compare two files to check if those files are same or not, we compute the hash of the content, because hash is more, I mean, safer way to check if two files are the same. We generally use MD5 hash in data store, so we use the same thing, but the computing hash takes time. I mean, it will require you to access all the data, and I mean, using CPU, it computes hash code. So it will take some time. And then make the download process, I mean, progress slow. So -- no hash means it will only check the size of the file. So it doesn't, I mean, 100% accurate, but when you know, you just, I mean, ran the Go commands previously, and then you know this file doesn't, I mean, change that much, then no hash is a simpler, I mean, quicker way to compare based on just name and size.
That is actually really helpful. Thank you for being here and giving a lot more of an explanation that I could have. And Shravan, if you were listening to that, if you do have an unstable connection, you might want to be using -- diff. And since Il was explaining it, it will resume, or it will try to resume where you have left off. So with that said, I'm going to try it out. I'm going to try this command out. I'm going to press enter. it is picking up a different file. So maybe that's just where it decided to start. I don't think I have a problem with that. But this is a big file, and I don't necessarily want to be here all day to transfer it. Not all day, but over time, and we are a little bit over time over here. So I may also stop this, but I hope this was helpful for you, Shravan. Try the Go command, do connect with Ilyang, and when you do try the Go command, use --diff, perhaps use --no hash to speed things up. So by all means, I hope this helps you out. With that in mind, there is one more thing that I do want to mention regarding Go commands. This is from personal experience. Whoa, what's going on here? Not sure if it's stalled because I moved the cursor around or I moved the window around a little bit. But it looks stuck, and this is a live demo. So when you do a live demo, there is a 98% chance that your things will get stuck. Oh, it was done. It was just a visual bug, I suppose. So I'm going to cancel here very quickly. And I wanted to show you one thing. If I do Go command, it will show me everything that I can do with Go commands. But this is not actually everything that I can do. Let's say that I want to have more information on downloading files. The way that I will do is Go commands, get command to download, and I'll have to add --help. And this will give me additional flags that I can add in order to help the data transfer. I remember quite recently I learned about the bomb. I forgot what it was. Let me check real quick. bput. There we go. And it's an iRods function, and it wasn't showing. I think it does show up over here. bput, bundle upload files or directories, and I didn't know how to use it, so I had to do Go commands bput help, and it was really helpful in understanding what I can do with it. But if you are stuck, put in whatever command you want, such as get, put, and also add --help for you to understand what else you can add, what flags you can add in order to help yourself. Perhaps thread number, it's something you can add in order to help you transfer files quicker. Okay, with that in mind, this is the last thing I want to show you, and is SFTP. You can look at how to move files through SFTP by clicking the SFTP link here at the bottom. Now, through SFTP, I like to transfer files using the command line, but you can also add the SFTP credentials. I just closed Cyberduck and I want to reopen it. You can add SFTP credentials through Open Connection. Right here in Cyberduck, if you scroll down, you can add SFTP credentials. And here you can add, oh, come on. I have to move this one behind over here. There is information that you can add. And you want to add this information right here, what the hostname is, what port you're using, and your username and password. Let me try that out. Server, data.CyVerse.org, port 22, username Cosi Michele, and password. If I click connect, what happens? Unknown fingerprint. Yes, allow. Whoa, it worked. Fantastic. Will it list all of my files and folders? Yes, it does. Wow, SFTP through Cyberduck. This is perhaps my second time using it, so I may act a little bit like I'm surprised, but I kind of am surprised. So that's how you connect through SFTP through Cyberduck, but you can also do it here on the command line, SFTP data.CyVerse.org is not going to work. I have to put in Cosi Michele at data.CyVerse.org. I'm going to press enter. It's going to say, hey, the new connection. What do you want to do? Are you sure you want to connect? Yes. I will type in fully. Yes. And it's going to ask me for my password. And now I am connected to data.cyverse.org to the CyVerse data store. And through SFTP, it uses SFTP commands. So get, put. If you have SFTP knowledge and you use SFTP before, this works like any SFTP server. We are over time, and therefore, wait, Shravan did have a couple of extra questions. Is there a way to run these commands non-interactively by storing credentials in environment variables or config files? That's definitely a question for you, Young. I want to be respectful of CyVerse resources. Where can we find documentation on rate limits and recommended upload quotas? Thank you. That's a good question, Shravan. The CyVerse does have a subscription tier, and if you want to know what your subscription tier can give you, you can always go to CyVerse.org.
CyVerse.org/subscribe, Michele, and that'll take you.
Okay, there we go. Thank you, Tina. And if you scroll here at the bottom, you can see what the data store limits are. I do not think there are limits for upload quota, like how fast you're uploading files or how often you're uploading files, as long as you stick to these tier limitations. So I believe you're a pro or commercial, so you can upload between 3 to 5 terabytes. And always, if you have questions, you can contact us regarding storage limits or ways to upload and download files. And I can see that you already are going to be contacting Il Young for it. Yes, Il Young.
Yeah, there is no speed limit for data transfer actually, but some system requires middlemen like SFTP server. I mean, for SFTP access, we need SFTP server that translates IRO's protocol to SFTP. In that case, the system performance of SFTP server is kind of bottleneck, so that your speed may be a little bit slower than Go commands or I commands, because Go commands, I commands directly communicate with data store. So because of the middleman, you will get lower speed sometimes. I mean, like web dev, you will get little bit faster speed than SFTP, but lower than Go commands or I commands. So it depends on the middleman.
Thank you for the explanation, Il Young.
Thank you so much, Michele and Il Young. Appreciate that.
You have a question, Shravan?
No, I just said thank you, both Michele and Il Young, for addressing all of this.
No, by all means, we're here for you. And very much thank you, Il Young, for being here. Your knowledge is extremely useful for today's presentation. But we are getting to the end of it, and I am going to put in my last slide over here. And by all means, we do have a number of links. One of the things about CyVerse is that there is so many links out there. And I wanted to end with this slide because it's a good wrap slide on where you can find more information. And learning.cyverse.org is where you're going to find all of the CyVerse information. And we do hold the number of curated data. We do have a web dev that Il-Yang was just mentioning, and therefore these are just some of the URLs which I had to get accustomed to, and I thought, hey, if I had to get accustomed to, likely other people need these as well, so I'm just putting them out there. Last things, once again, learning to transfer data, go to learning.CyVerse.org, manage your data, moving data, and here is where you're going to find all of the information on transferring data in and out of CyVerse. I'm going to open up the floor to additional questions now, if there are any. And I'm going to give you exactly 12 seconds.
I don't see any other questions for Michele. You've covered that thoroughly, and great to have you, Il-Yang, to add in. Il-Yang is the creator of CoGommands. Is that correct? All right. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for attending today's webinar. Thank you, Michele. Thank you, Il-Yang. Please join us for our next webinar on October 25th at this same time slot. Michele and CyVerse's Director of Cyber Infrastructure, Edwin Skidmore, will present on how to use the Cacao Cloud Platform for teaching workshops. So when you're teaching a lot of people, and you might have different operating systems and different things, and people have their data everywhere, to access cloud native resources for that. So ciao, everyone. See you then. Thank you. Bye, everybody.